Hi, my YouTube friends that want to know all things Marvel. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. Today, we are going to crack into the multiverse. I had a great time in that movie. Doctor Strange and Wanda are actually my two favorite Avengers. So I really had super high expectations for this film. So come on in. I'm at the Hard Rock right now, and we will talk about it. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I've waited 6 years for this. Okay, everybody, we are here to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So the first time I saw this movie was just in a regular movie theater. Everything was sold out, so we had to go to a regular movie theater, no 40X, no 2X, no IMAX, and we were like in the second row. So when I first saw the movie, there was a lot of distractions going on, and I walked out of there pretty angry. I was like, this movie sucked. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I was really mad that there was like no astro body experiences in this movie. I was mad that there was like no big mirror dimension fights. And when you first see this movie, it feels so fast-paced. But it really isn't when you go back to see it the second, third, fourth, or fifth time. But yeah, that was the rating I gave it to begin with. And it didn't feel right. I was like, I need to go back alone with nobody and see it in IMAX and judge for myself. Sorry about that. I'm just playing around with this new app. So let me get right into the movie. So, if you're going to see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, you must watch WandaVision. You also need to watch Loki, which is on Disney+. Loki explains the variants and, when two universes collide, which is an incursion. WandaVision is very important because it shows you how Wanda creates her children, and this is a spoiler review. She is the villain in the Multiverse of Madness, so her getting Tommy and Billy back that she made out of magic in other universes is her big MO to try to kill American Chavez. Now, American Chavez can portal hop to any universe in the world, but only if she is frightened. So, her power in the wrong hands, like someone like the Scarlet Witch, someone that enslaved about 4,000 people, give or take, in Westview, can enslave universes of people to do what she wants, with no free will at their expense. So this is very much a Scarlet Witch film. When I first saw it, I was like, this is a Doctor Strange movie. I'm like, this is all about Wanda. And then I saw it in IMAX alone, and then we went to a 4DX theater. 4DX is very new. It came out during the pandemic. I have one that is only 5 minutes away from my house. They made it about 6 months ago, and it's amazing. I usually hate 3D, but the 3D in this film, it is perfect because the 3D doesn't hurt your eyes. It feels brand new. The seats rock back and forth. When someone gets stabbed, you literally get stabbed in the back and you feel it. When there's water sequences or fight sequences, you get wet. Your face gets wet. It snows. What else? When American Chavez punches into other portals, you can see electricity flying over your heads. There's also snow sequences in the movie where snow falls down. It is so awesome. I felt like I was in the movie watching it in 40x. Wind blows behind your head. My hair was such a mess. Makeup gone. Popcorn, rest in peace. And then they have something by your feet where it feels like rats are moving by your feet. That's the best way to describe it. But man, if you have friends that fall asleep in movies, bring them to a 40x theater. Their ass will be on the ground. There was actually some elderly people that had to leave because it's like a roller coaster of a ride in a movie. So yeah, if you have a bad back or you're elderly or you fall asleep in movies, I wouldn't suggest 40x. If you love cinema and you love Marvel, then definitely try to find the closest 40x theater near you. You will thank me later. So let's get into the movie. I'm so sorry, I've been rambling, and I'm new to this YouTube. I don't know how to cut out filler words and make, this YouTube go faster. I know a lot of people like instant gratification and they like YouTube videos to go really fast, so bear with me. One thing I am proud to say is I was never a Marvel fan. I became a big Marvel fan when Infinity War was released. Check it. I watched Infinity War without knowing anybody's origin stories, and I fell in love. Then I got Disney Plus and I watched Iron Man from 2008 all the way up until Black Widow. I saw all the Disney Plus series. I saw WandaVision, Loki, What If. I saw Hawkeye. Didn't like that. I saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I didn't like that either, even though they are cool, but I think Steve Rogers is what made them better. Without Steve Rogers, all they do is fight like gay lovers. But so I just want to say, like I said, when I first saw this movie, I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's because when I first saw it, it was so much to take in. First, they spoiled so much in the trailers. I was so mad. It was Super Bowl weekend, and I remember watching the commercials. That's what you do during Super Bowl. And they released the Doctor Strange trailer, and that's when you see Mordo say, "The Illuminati is here." And then you see Patrick Stewart, and then every week they start leaking more and more and more into their trailers, and I'm like, oh my god, like, there was so much fan service in No Way Home, but they kept that hush hush. With this movie, everything you see in the trailers and everything you guessed is in the movie. So it was a little bit underwhelming for me. But I did not know the Scarlet Witch was going to be the villain. I was like, damn, this movie was 3 hours long, and then they cut it back from 2 hours and 50 minutes to 2 hours and 6 minutes. I guess they were doing some test screenings and people were confused. And I'm sure the people that were confused were the people that didn't have Disney Plus and stuff like that. So they didn't really understand the multiverse, so they had to make it more simplistic. And I hate it when movies insult the viewer's intelligence. Kevin Feige knows us Marvel fans don't miss anything. With Marvel, if you miss one, you miss them all. But we're not responsible for those other people. So, Kevin, if you hear this, just stick to what you're doing. If people don't want to watch Disney Plus and everything else to make it all tie in neatly together and they're confused, then F them. They're missing out. So yeah, I was in the trailers, it kind of makes it look like the Scarlet Witch is fighting with Wong and stuff. So I thought this whole time when they were saying Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch kept saying we have a recurring nightmare, I was like, oh, the villain is going to be Nightmare. Duh. And I was sure wrong. And I am so happy that Elizabeth Olsen got to play the Scarlet Witch. I loved the dream walking concept. It gave me chills. The first time when Wanda was dream walking and dream stalking Wanda from Earth 838. Oh my God. That was so scary. You see Wanda and, you see the Scarlet Witch in Wanda's house, and she's like stalking her and she wants her body. And you see the lights flickering. One instance in the movie, you see a beautiful picture of Wanda smiling, holding a cake and a picture frame. And you see Wanda fall forward and she looks over at the picture, and the picture is like this. And it turns to that. I'm like, oh my God, it scared me so much. And then, of course, Sam Ramey put his touch on this. You see the tea, and there's like the ocean spinning in it. And then you see the peas moving around in the plates. And then you see her fall forward and look up. And she sees herself as the Scarlet Witch. It's supposed to be a pop scare moment. That's with 40X. When it stabbed me in the back at that time with the jump scare. I enjoyed it. And I really love the part where Elizabeth Olsen gets into Wanda's body and she's like, like it feels so good. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen, they casted the most beautiful, perfect woman to play the Scarlet Witch because she has those big doe eyes, the high cheekbones, the very expressive face. So I loved that part. And so let me get off the Scarlet Witch for a moment. Let me praise Benedict Cumberbatch. Now that I saw it for a 5th time, this is a Doctor Strange movie. It is very much a Doctor Strange movie. I really missed the Doctor Strange music that we heard in the first Doctor Strange. If you go back to the first Doctor Strange, he has this special music that only Marvel fans will pick up probably. And they had it in Thor Randarok. When Doctor Strange came in the beginning, you heard his music. You heard it in Infinity War. And they didn't add it in this movie, which I thought was sad. I missed it. And I was hoping, I noticed in WandaVision when Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda, she was like cooking and wherever she's from, not Scandinavia, Sokovia. And you see her cooking, and then you see her astro form reading the Darkhold. So I was like thinking to myself, maybe she has the same powers as Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange, where they can both push each other out of each other's bodies. But I think that would have made for a great scene in the movie. What's crazy is Sam Ramey never saw WandaVision. Never saw it. So I think if he would have saw WandaVision from the beginning to the end, he also would have known how important it would be to add Vision into this movie. Vision being gone, I had to take a point off. But then again, I do understand, because he would have to be White Vision. But I do understand that White Vision would probably stop Wanda from becoming the Scarlet Witch, and he wouldn't approve of it. And everyone has to remember that Wanda took over Westview and had so much grief that she made Vision out of love, out of the Soul Stone. And the kids came later, like episode 3 or 4. But it was always about Vision and how much she loved him. So for her to want her kids more than she wants her man was a little weird in this film. I think Vision should have been somewhere in the multiverse. A little bit. I just think maybe Kevin Feige was a little scared that Vision would just put a stop to this. Like, Wanda, come back to reality. You're not the Scarlet Witch. You're Wanda. You love me. You have kids. And maybe he might have spoke some logic into her, and then she wouldn't be this badass villain that just destroys everyone in her path. So I'm gonna get to so I'm sad Vision wasn't in it. That's why I really did take off a point. So the Illuminati scene, so the Illuminati is like our Avengers in World 838. I thought they were pretty weak. If the Scarlet Witch could just walk up in there, slice them in half, have Black Bolt's mouth sealed, brain explode, and then you got Captain Marvel with Tesseract powers, who's one of the strongest Avengers on Earth. And I think Wanda sucked her powers away because she has Agatha Harkness's powers now. And Agatha's powers were to take other people's powers. So maybe that's why she was able to defeat her and have a statue fall on her. Oh, and poor Peggy Carter getting sliced in the middle with her own shield. That was a horrible way to go. Mr. Fantastic, I didn't really get it. I know who he is. He was in that movie A Quiet Place. That's all I really know him from. The smartest man in the world. I don't know. He tried to talk some sense into Wanda, and then Wanda turned him into confetti, just like Thanos turned Drax into blocks. And I forgot the girl with the antennas names that Drax always calls ugly. But at least Thanos spared them their lives. The Scarlet Witch did not. So, so the Scarlet Witch was such a villain, and her body count was high, and she was scary. There was parts where she had the Ultron blood on her, and she has glass in her feet, and you see her running and running and running, and you're just like, oh my god, this feels like Terminator, like a T2 moment. That's what I felt. And then when they finally got to the Book of Vishanti, and they didn't close that fucking door, I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna come through the door and burn the Book of Vishanti. And I was so right. Doctor Strange fucked up a lot in this movie. But I did not know that Rachel McAdams, Christine Palmer, would be such a big part of Doctor Strange's life. And Doctor Strange 2. I loved it. In the first one, he kind of used her just to fix himself or fix the Ancient One, and he told her some horrible things in the beginning of the movie. I love how in this movie they had closure on their relationship at the very end when they were in Sinister Strange's house. And I love how even though she was against him touching the Darkhold, as she said, all you strangers are the same. Maybe they are, but I think our 616 Strange does things for the greater good, not because he's selfish. I love how she had him when he said, I'm going under, they're going to get me, the souls of the damned. And she had, she was holding on to him tight and talking him through it. And when they were trying to bring him to hell, and she's like, use the souls of the damned as your cloak of levitation. I just thought that was an awesome scene. I'm getting ahead of myself here, though. I did love when they ended up in the world where Doctor Strange caused an incursion. When Sinister Strange was there, and he's like, I've been living in this goddamn haunted house, and seemed very much creepily obsessed with Christine. I took a good look at Sinister Strange's face, and holy shit, Benedict Cumberbatch. First of all, he has a light British accent in real life. You would never know that was Doctor Strange. Like, that's Doctor Strange, but like a Doctor Strange that has let himself go, that talks differently, that needs a shower. And I loved the visuals of the lake and going up the stairs. And when you go up the stairs, you see how everything is ruined outside because of the incursion. And I love how he gives him an ultimatum, like, you can have the Darkhold if you give me your Christine. And Doctor Strange is like, she ain't gonna go for that. What is she gonna do here with you? Live in this haunted house with you while you do what to her? So I thought that was great. I thought the music fight with the Beethoven and the good music and the bad music, and in 40X, the chairs were shaking so much that my boobs were falling out of my shirts. That fight right there was a 10 out of 10. That was so fucking creative. I screamed. I loved it so much. And then I didn't know this. Everyone else in the theater was like, "Oh, I already knew this. I saw it coming." But I didn't see it coming when Senor Strange, Doctor Strange, with the long hair in the beginning, who was very sexy with long hair, I had no idea that he was going to use his body that he buried on 616 and walk in a corpse's body, which is against the law. Even by the Darkhold, it's against the law. That's why he had all those creatures coming out at him. I thought him as a zombie was fucking awesome. I loved it. The only thing I didn't like was in the beginning of the movie, when you first see Doctor Strange as dead, he was already very creepy, already very decomposed. I think the movie was like in a world where it was only 12 hours long. So when you see Doctor Strange and half his mouth is gone, you're like, there's no way he can decompose that fast. I think, because, okay, there's a part where he gives a very heartfelt message to American Chavez, where he says, everything you did led us up to here. I'm not here to take your power. I'm not like the other Doctor Stranges. I believe in you. I was crying because it was so sweet, and I was laughing at the same time because of he was talking like that. I was like, oh my God, that looks so bad. If they would have just laid off the heavy decomposing makeup and just left him how he was when they first found him, left the white on his face, the colored contacts, all of that, I think that would have made for a better zombie Strange. I think. So yeah, this is where the movie made me really, really cry. And I didn't see this coming. You see American Chavez get up and she punches a portal and tries to throw the Scarlet Witch in hell. The Scarlet Witch looks at her and goes, "Bitch, I'm more powerful than you." And she's about to hit her. And that's when American Chavez goes, "You know what? I'm just going to give you what you want. If you want to kill 838 Wanda, like nothing ever happened, and pretend to be Tommy and Billy's mother, go for it." And there's a part where she opens the portal and Billy and Tommy see her real mom for who she really is in the Scarlet Witch outfit. I love when she was dreamwalking. Actually, the more you dreamwalk, the uglier you get. So you saw how pale she was getting. The sweat was coming down her face. When Mordo was talking, and I skipped over the Mordo scene. I was so sad when he said, he always says, like, the bill comes due. Wong and Mordo need a Disney Plus show because Mordo and Wong did not get blipped. So they need to show what Mordo was doing, trying to kill too many sorcerers, and they need to show what Wong was doing in those 5 years to handle everything while he was Sorcerer Supreme. But anyways, there's a part in there where I had to laugh where American Chavez was about to close the portal, and then out of nowhere you see like Doctor Strange like, no, not yet, like on his arm. I was like, like that's so ridiculous. He looked like the Terminator right there. But this is the part that gets me. Tommy and Billy gets to see the Scarlet Witch for who she really is, and they hate her. They hate her. They see that that the Scarlet Witch hurt their real mother. And if I was 838 Wanda and I woke up with glass in my feet, Ultron oil in my hair, on my face, beat up body, I would have been pissed. I would have been like, girl, you fucked up my body. But instead, when the Scarlet Witch realizes how evil and awful she was, and that her kids would never love her for her cruel intentions, and she just gets down on her knees and realizes, when she says, I'm not a monster, and she goes, wait a second, I am a monster. And Wanda just comes right up to her, and that's the part where you see her touch her right here, and she's bawling, and Wanda looks at her and just says, know that they'll be loved. And I cried so much. My makeup was already falling off due to the 4DX theater. And yeah, that really did it for me. Sam Ramey was great at capturing her beauty, and also when the Darkhold really had her. You saw her makeup smeared off, the red nose. You could tell her beauty was becoming ugly. That's the Darkhold, and Sam Ramey did a great job capturing that. So I think Sam Ramey pushed the envelope with the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It kind of reminded me of Thor. I love Thor 1, but Thor 2, yes, there's scenes in it that are important, but Thor definitely needed a revamp. And that's what they did with Randarok. It's like they threw Guardians of the Galaxy with the color and the comedy and all that into Thor. And I think that's what we'll get with Thor Love and Thunder. Can't wait for that. It comes out around my birthday, I believe. My birthday is July 6th. So I hope it comes out on 40X. But yeah, this is a very much spoiler review. I don't need to say much more. You guys already saw the movie. But that's what my take is on it. There was just so many beautiful moments. I thought it was a movie that was so fast-paced, but it's not. There's moments where it slows down, and you get to know America, and you get to see where Doctor Strange is in his life, and how better his sorcery has come. But what I love about Doctor Strange is he is as reckless as Peter Parker. He's as reckless as American Chavez and all these kids. I mean, besides Loki and Sylvie killing Kang, he botched a spell. So there's so many things that Doctor Strange does that are like kid-like, and he's supposed to be the adult. And that's why he's my favorite. I know everyone loves Tony Stark. They love Captain America. And I know Doctor Strange came in later. And I know a lot of people didn't know about Doctor Strange in the comics. I didn't either. But putting Benedict Cumberbatch in a live action movie with Marvel, with great writers, with a big budget, made me fall in love with him. And I can't wait. I did see Clea, his future wife, saying you caused an incursion. He's flexing the third eye. I did not like the third eye. And I also didn't like how the movie ended on a cliffhanger, where he's like, my head, and falls on the street. Like, it could have ended a little better than that. So that's why there's a little points taken off this movie. That's why it's a 9. Hey, at least I bumped it up from a 7 to a 9, okay? But I think Charlize Theron is an appropriate age to play Clea. Somebody that's in their 40s, just like Benedict Cumberbatch. And it looks like they're going back to where Dormammu is. And I think that's one of the most underrated fights ever, where he puts him in a time loop, Dormammu, and he says, Dormammu, I'm here to bargain. I mean, we all love that. And that's the first villain ever to say, how the F do you make this stop? I will do anything for you to get me out of this time loop, and I'm gone. I'm gone, homie. That's the only villain to ever do that. And that's why I love Doctor Strange, and it's so underrated. And that just shows what a great person Doctor Strange is. He's willing to die over and over again until the end of time just to save Earth. So that is my take on the Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure there are a lot of things I did not add in this movie, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. Make sure you see WandaVision. Make sure you see What If. The only What If series that counts is the one with Peggy Carter, and the 2 Doctor Stranges with Sinister Strange and Zombie Strange. And Loki will help you with the variants, and Infinity War for sure, because they do mention the blip, and they mention Thanos, and Spider-Man No Way Home. So you can see what he does when he botches the spell to make everyone forget about Peter Parker. I'm excited for the MCU in Phase 4, and I hope they take their time in the next 10 years for Secret Wars. I hope it's like Infinity War. But thank you guys for staying. I love you, and I will talk later about more MCU projects.